Hey guys, in this video we'll do a deep dive into material substitutions and spot some insane BDO mechanics out in the wild. I will show you how a group of people from the LifeSkill Discord solved a mystery that no one had been able to figure out for over 5 years. And it's not like no one tried. The people who have almost everything else in this game figured out just couldn't see through this one. If you don't want the full story and just want to get to the results, feel free to skip to the summary. But if you stick around till the end of the video, I'll show if using less materials in a recipe is or isn't a viable strategy. But let's start from the beginning. Materials are organized into material groups. There's vegetables, grains, fruits, and so on. In a recipe, you can substitute an item with all other items in the group. Let's take pickled vegetables. On sheet, it uses cabbage, but we can use any vegetable from the group, like pumpkins and paprika that we get from nodes. That's great because the only way to get cabbage is by gathering it manually, and gathering cabbage sucks. Trust me, I tried it. So that's sideways substitution. We can also substitute vertically with a higher grade item. For example, one high quality or special pumpkin can substitute multiple white vegetables. But how many exactly? And that is the price question. One rule you would see over and over on the internet is that one high quality is equal to 3 white and one special equal to 5 white, and I figure that's based on the little bit of info added to some recipes on BDO Codex. Let's put that rule to the test. We'll use coconut pasta because the recipe requires 4 garlic, so one high quality should fail as it counts as a maximum of 3 garlic according to that rule. We put in the ingredients, press start, and it fails, as expected. Just to be sure, let's try another recipe. Tea with fine scent, which needs 4 sunflowers. So we expect it to fail like the recipe before. We put in the ingredients again and it succeeds? Wait, what? Surely the game realizes it's wrong and it will give us a fail. Okay, well maybe that didn't work out. You know what? We didn't try special quality yet. Let's try special pumpkins for pickled vegetables. The recipe takes 8 vegetables and according to our rule, special only counts as 5, so it should fail. But surprisingly, it doesn't. So in our tests, high quality counted as 3 or as 4 white in the recipe and special quality even as 8. So what that rule really seems to give us is the minimum substitution count of high quality and special. That's not very helpful, is it? Because we still have to go out and test recipes ourselves. Wouldn't it be great if we knew ahead of time how much the qualities count for? Our first rule obviously didn't work out. But not all hope is lost. There's a big-ass table of material qualities that was data mined a long time ago. And that's exactly what we're looking for, right? It's even ordered neatly by the material groups. Let's see if we can spot why sunflower counts as more than 3 white and tea with fine scent. Here it says that one high-quality sunflower has quality 12. I mean, 12 seems a bit much, but it explains why one high quality works in tea with fine scent. It also says that roses have quality 1 and tulips and sunflowers have quality 2. Anyway, we got other materials to check. A special pumpkin has quality 72, which would certainly explain why it can replace 8 whites and pickled vegetables. And finally, for garlic, it says that one high quality garlic has quality 6, but we just saw that it counts as a maximum of 3 garlic in coconut pasta. Man, those numbers just seem totally overkill. Maybe there's something we're missing here. Okay, so we're 2 out of 3 for our test recipes on this one. That's an improvement from the last rule. So these tables seem like they could be the key to solving material substitutions, and we might just not be reading them correctly. And that's where we, as the cooking community, were up until a few weeks ago. We had this table, a bunch of recipes for which we knew the substitution rule, but no way to match these numbers with the actual recipes. I'll overlay the tables and the recipes again. If you have a few minutes to think about it, maybe you can figure out the system behind it. I certainly couldn't figure it out, and neither could anyone we knew. Until Warflash, the guy who created Videolytics, had the idea to start a focus group of cooking nerds to figure out the system behind it. And what can I say, it worked. Okay, so here's how the material substitution system in BDO works. For each substitutable item there's a base material. And that's why the recipe for pickled vegetables is given with cabbage. Cabbage is the base item in the vegetable material group, and all other items in the group are substitutes. The twist is, the game uses the same tables we just saw, but it halves the quality for all items that are substitutes. So in the vegetable group, we have to divide all qualities other than cabbage by 2 to get the actual qualities. Now we just need to know one more thing. In a recipe, each material requires the specific count given by the base material, and we can use any combination of items, including substitutes, to hit that count. Let's look at what that means for pickled vegetables. It requires 8 cabbage, and for simplicity, let's just say 8 white vegetables. So if we are using one high quality pumpkin, we already knocked out 6 out of the 8 vegetables required, and if we add another 2 white vegetables, we've hit the count of 8. Let's check that in-game real quick. And it works. Of course, we could also use one special. One special counts as 36 white, which still seems absolutely insane, but as far as we can tell, that's just how highly the game values special crops. That's 1 out of 3 on our test recipes. And our new rule also explains why 1 high quality sunflower works on tea with fine scent. Counting as 6 white, it's plenty for the recipe. Now it gets interesting. If high quality counts as 6 white, then why does coconut pasta fail? If you look at the qualities, it becomes pretty obvious. For some reason, the qualities for spices like onions, pepper, and garlic are halved. So here, 1 high quality only counts as 3 white. And that makes it 3 out of 3 for the test recipes. Our shiny new rule can also explain some more phenomena that we couldn't really explain before. Like why wheat dough is weaker than other doughs. If we look at the tables, we can see that it literally has reduced quality compared to other doughs. And if that's the case for doughs, why is wheat flour not weaker than other flours? Well, because flours all have the same quality. Of course, material substitutions aren't limited to cooking, they also apply to alchemy. The most common material group is mushrooms. According to this table, 1 big mushroom equals 3 white, 1 high quality equals 18, and special a whopping 108. There's another obscurity that we knew about but couldn't really explain before. For some reason, lion and scorpion blood needs double the amount that other blood takes in alchemy. And now we can see that's because the game literally treats them as half as valuable as other bloods. Okay, and while we're at it, let's debunk a myth that's been around for at least as long as the material substitution mystery. The story goes that you could use less materials than indicated on the recipe. Of course, you would sometimes fail doing so, and the chance to succeed would increase based on your cooking level. But as this test shows, that's not the case. How it really works is that the game is aware of how many materials a recipe needs and how many you input. So it will give a chance to fail based on how many materials are missing, not on your cooking level. So you should always use the full ingredients of the recipe. Okay, let's summarize. In a recipe, certain items can be replaced by other items from the same material group. But how many items are needed for such a substitution? In the old theory, higher grade items could replace lower grades at a certain rate, and that rate was the same for all items. But if you've cooked before, you probably noticed that the rates were by far not the same for all items. What's actually going on is that each material has a certain quality assigned to it by the game internally, and that quality determines its substitution value. I put the common material groups for cooking and alchemy and their substitution value on screen. As you can see, items from different material groups can have vastly different substitution values. We can also confirm that certain anomalies like wheat dough being less valuable than other doughs is not a random glitch, but it's actually hard-coded into the game files for whatever reason. Is there anything to take away from this? Well, in a game where the devs like to buff or nerf certain items and interactions through hidden mechanics either intentionally or unintentionally, it's a good idea to not take info given by the game for granted and go out and test it ourselves. Alright, that concludes our expedition into the insanity of BDO mechanics. I hope you had fun and maybe you even learned a thing or two. If you haven't watched my Cooking by the Book series, go watch that. You'll end up learning much more useful things than why wheat dough sucks. Bye!